Riles, it is time for another classic JP and the Beans top 5. Okay, so let's set the context, the premise, if you will, for this particular top 5. So in our dialogue, we have obviously established that, hey, we need some Avengers, right? We need some freaking heroes on the Marvel side. And something that has been sorely lacking since 2019. So again, 4 freaking years is we don't have an Avengers team. If someone were to say, who are the Avengers? Uh, you'd be
Well,
given blank stares,
it's
questions like, we don't know.
it's
We don't
kind
know
of
who they are.
crazy now that I think about it. Like, we had Nick Fury behind the scenes in the first phase.
Yes.
Nobody was like, you know what, we need to rebuild the Avengers back up. Like they
You would
kind of
think that would be a really natural, question to be answered,
you
right?
just have Wong showing up.
Uh-huh.
That's been our continuum. It's
Yep.
Wong.
Yep. And he hasn't done a very good job at gathering Avengers,
It's not Wong's
so
fault.
far as we know.
It's not Wong's
It's not
fault.
his role, not his fault. Nick Fury, bud, you dropped the ball here. So we're going to step into the Nick Fury role and go, hey, if we could have our druthers, all right, who would we select? Who would we desire to be the next 5 core Avengers? All right, so we're trying to save the MCU here. MCU needs Avengers. They are completely without the nexus with which everything else revolves around. So we need to establish that new Avengers team. So we're going to give you our proposed 5 Avengers. Miles, you go first.
At number 5, okay, so I was kind of struggling with the 5th one. I'm not gonna lie, but I feel like we've lost so many integral, important characters.
Yep.
In the MCU right now. So I think to add some firepower in the sense of an entire nation behind them, I'm taking Shuri at 5.
Ooh, good.
Which, like I said, I like her character. I think she did good.
Yeah.
Honestly, if T'Challa was still around, I'd be taking T'Challa over Shuri. But look, Shuri as Black Panther. We need Black Panther in there. I think it's just good to have Black Panther in there.
Right.
We need more Black Panther.
Right.
So Shuri at number 5.
Okay. Love that pick. That's fantastic. For me, my number 5 is going to be, and this is a carryover pick. This is the only carryover pick that I'll do, but it's Ant-Man. I do enjoy Paul Rudd's Ant-Man.
Oh, he's fantastic.
He's outstanding. So I would take more of him, and what he has never yet really had, aside from Endgame, which was more cameo, but he's never had a true run as a, hey man, you're an Avenger, right? Like he was on Captain America's side in Civil War, but he's always been kind of this independent contractor. I'd love to see him get folded into the team proper, like to have a thief on their side. He's got a skill set that I think the Avengers could really benefit from, and I love the variety of skills that he presents, right? Not just the small size, the massive size. I would enjoy the comedic relief and the phenomenal skill set that Ant-Man provides. So that's my number 5.
Okay.
Is Ant-Man. Okay. Now, number 4. I want a female in the group. I really had a hard time
I did too, because
not doing a huge freaking sausage fest here.
I refused to put Captain Marvel in.
Correct. We are. This is
And
why we can have a
Wanda's
podcast.
dead.
Yeah, and so I kind of oscillated between Wanda, because we know she's not really dead, and I enjoy her character a lot. I've loved her character arc, but I think she probably fits best at this point in the anti-hero realm.
She needs to be redeemed.
Not pure villain, but she's not in that Avenger spot yet. And she had her time. Kate Bishop, boy, there's potential there, but I'm not there yet with what we've seen. I'm just not. The character that I have really enjoyed has been Echo. Really kidding. If I actually, okay, you have my permission. If I ever say that is different, that I want Echo as an Avenger, you have my permission to kick me out of the podcast.
Okay.
Okay. Good. So, equivalent of a baseball bat to the head. No, for me, it's Yelena. I would love to see Yelena step in. And maybe that just feels lazy. It kind of does, because, oh, yeah, great, our other Black Widow. Yep, I'm not winning points for originality here, but I enjoy the character of Yelena a lot.
Yeah, no, she's well developed.
She is. So give me freaking Yelena, the Black Widow. Part goes.
Yeah.
24.
So now the rest of it,
Yep.
I'm not gonna lie, the rest of my list, we need firepower. We
You
need,
bet.
and by firepower, I
Yep.
mean star power.
Okay.
You need to get some of those A tier characters
Mhm.
back in.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
What better way to do that than to get Charlie Cox's Daredevil?
Yeah, I love that.
Now,
Yep.
is that something Daredevil would do?
That's a good question.
Probably not.
Yep. He's kind of
But
been in and out, in and out.
that he could potentially be their Green Arrow. Like when Green Arrow gets brought into the Justice League back at the cartoons, they brought him in there because he's grounded. He's, you know what I mean? Like he's human. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I mean, besides being a billionaire,
Right.
right? Outside of that,
Not
he's,
your average guy.
he's grounded in the sense of he's worried about humanity.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I think that
Brings
would
that
be,
perspective.
I think that would be a Daredevil-esque role for
Yep.
that.
Yep.
So I'm going to say Daredevil at 4. And at number 3,
Love that.
number 3, this is where we have to pull in the big guns. I'm taking Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just a must at this point.
Yep.
You need somebody that's going to be able to get stuff done.
Yep.
And right now, I can't think of like Hulk's not there. I'm sorry, Hulk's been neutered. Hulk ain't there no more for me.
Mm.
So it's like you need somebody who's gonna be able to, once he hits the screen, you're like, oh, it's about to go down.
Mm-hmm.
That used to be the Hulk. And
Right.
now I think that can be Doctor Strange.
Yep. No, I love the idea of Doctor Strange in there. So counterpoint a little bit. My number 3 is going to be the Hulk, because I want him to get unneutered real fast.
I agree.
I want
If
him.
you can unneuter him, fantastic.
Right. I want whatever, and here's all it would take. And I don't think this would necessarily be believable. I mean, it can make it believable. But here's all I've got so far is whatever Banner did to corral the Hulkness, right? To combine the brains and the brawn, it needs to be undone, right? The Hulkness, in other words, overwhelms the brain and takes back over. We need the Jekyll and Hyde dynamic because I think back, and we've talked about this before, so we won't go too far down this rabbit hole. But good grief, the 2012 Avengers movie rushed the portrayal of the Hulk. We haven't seen that fun, that great of a Hulk for that extended period of time. Like we've seen teases, a little bit in Age of Ultron, a little bit in Thor Ragnarok.
Age of Ultron, Hulkbuster versus the Hulk was fantastic.
Yep. But I want Hulk smashing. Here's my personal preference. I want Hulk smashing the bad guys.
Right.
From start to finish. So I totally agree. Great scene. So I want Hulk hulking out against the bad guys. Just a selfish personal preference. He was phenomenal in Ragnarok. But again, brief. Like, give me more. So we had a lot of Hulk fighting Iron Man, a lot of Hulk fighting Thor. I want Hulk smashing the bad guys just ruthlessly. So totally agree. Has he been neutered? Yes. I want him redeemed. He's still out there. I want him part of the group. Well, number 2 is also Doctor Strange. Like, talk about another character that when he has been allowed to just like flex, he has flexed well. And even the multiverse of madness, like when he was able to do his thing, to show off his abilities, I enjoyed the heck out of that part of the movie. That was great. And so the powerhouse, bring him on board. Give me some Doctor Strange.
And I don't think he's ever been actually challenged yet.
Oh man.
Not even with like Thanos did I feel like, oh, he's overwhelmed. You know?
That is one of my favorite Marvel scenes is the Thanos and Doctor Strange duel in Infinity War. That's outstanding. Give me more of that.
All right.
Yep.
So
There
now
you go.
these last 2 picks
Hear it.
are very new Avengers vibes.
Okay.
Brian Michael Bendis.
Do it.
At number 2, I want Wolverine.
Yep.
We need an X-Men.
Yep.
Establish that you have the X-Men.
Yep.
Who's the face of the X-Men?
Mm-hmm.
Wolverine.
Freaking Wolverine, man.
It's Wolverine. Okay. He's gonna come in there. It would be fantastic. He's not afraid to kill. You know, he's gonna get it done. And it's Wolverine.
Yep.
So to me, you put him on there because he's gonna be a moneymaker.
Mm-hmm.
This is your A-tier character.
Mm-hmm.
And you get the mutants involved with the Avengers, and I think that's important.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
and my number 1, this to
Sure.
me is a no-brainer. You need to get Spider-Man. Now, I know that we just got him out of the mindset of being with the Avengers and now that he's done. But I think you give him a little bit of time,
Mhm.
okay?
Mhm.
And he comes back on the Avengers, but reluctantly.
Yep.
I think that's perfect,
Yep. None of them know who he is, right? There's
right?
no pre-existing understanding of who he is as a character or as Peter Parker.
There's nobody more A tier.
Yeah.
Scratch A tier. Spider Man is S tier. Okay, he's the best of the best.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
how it is. Okay.
Yeah.
I would love classic. 'Cause that's what it feels like. It feels like we're finally getting classic Spidey
Yeah.
with Tommy. If he comes
It's set
back,
up. It's
I
will we get it? I don't know, but it's set up.
I think it would be phenomenal.
Yep.
Now, obviously, on top of all that, I think having some of those OG Avengers to kind of like give it a veteran presence,
Yep.
bring back Hawkeye, bring back
Right.
if we get a Savage Hulk, that'd be fantastic. Having Falcon as Captain America now
Right.
be your another veteran presence. I think
Mhm.
that's all you would have to do to be
Yeah, there's
like,
plenty. Right, there's plenty of supplementary characters in there.
oh, for
but
sure.
who's your
But
core? Right.
yes,
Yeah. For me, my number one is Wolverine.
oh yeah,
That's my number one. And part of where I've struggled here in making this top five is what made that initial core of Avengers so phenomenal in the initial decade was the leadership tension and dynamic between Tony and Cap. Sorry, I had to choke on some water there. Yeah, Tony and Cap. Uh, and so I'm trying to think through like, well, what would the leadership dynamic be here? I think it would be pretty phenomenal to watch Doctor Strange and Wolverine argue over what to do. Right? I think that would be great.
well, that's why I'd like Spider-Man and Wolverine.
Mhm.
I just got done reading that
Mhm.
issue with Wolverine and Spider-Man
Yep.
back in like the 80s,
Yep.
where they're very different people, and it works really, really well. So yeah, for sure, because Wolverine is he's just he's angst incarnate.
Like, because he's the worst follower ever. Because no matter what you tell him, and if you're in the role of leadership and Wolverine's on your team, you're like, all right, Logan, here's what we're gonna do. He's gonna tell you that's stupid every time, even if it's a good plan. Like it doesn't matter. He's never gonna throw you the bone and go, "Yep, good idea. I'm on board." He's a contrarian. He just has to go against the flow, right? And so I would love it if Doctor Strange is trying to take charge. He's like, fine, all right, you come up with the plan. And then he's kind of, Wolverine is put on the spot of, all right, man, take charge, take the lead. I would love to see him forced to make that decision. I think there could be a really enjoyable dynamic there where he makes the decision, maybe earns a little, of empathy that he didn't expect for Doctor Strange of, okay, you know what, your idea actually wasn't terrible, but also it sucks. So here's my idea that's better. I think there could be some fun, a very different than Tony and Cap dynamic where you have two non-traditional leaders, let's call them, in Doctor Strange and Wolverine. But I'd be all for it. I'd be all for it.
I think I think those two together would be a lot more aggressive too.
Right?
I don't think
There's not a whole lot of strategery going on here.
no, I think they would not be afraid to get rid of somebody.
Hulk and Wolverine on the same team.
Hulk
Yeah.
will be Doc Strange. Those three do not care if anyone dies.
No, people are dying.
No.
A lot of people are dying. Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, they'll definitely have to be wrangled in for
Mhm.
sure. But
Mhm.
yeah, no,
Yep.
we just need Wolverine. I think that's what we've come down to. We need Wolfie.
Don't
But
we though?
you need
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, it's just you need those A tier guys.
Totally agree. I totally agree. And we've talked about this, and then I know we need to wrap up. But man, like you can do some great things with B and C list characters. You absolutely can because they are worthwhile. They should be explored, but they can't carry shows. They can't carry movies on their own. They are those supplementary supporting characters for a reason. Like you have to give them the foundation that they can exist on, that they can stand on, which is they're in the world with the A-list character. That character has to be there, has to at least be a presence, and then you can branch off, but you always have to come back to that main thread of the A-list characters. You just do. And it just continues to bamboozle me. Like if you're Marvel, as soon as Endgame wrapped up, you had the rights to the X-Men, you've got Fantastic Four, like you've got everybody. And you're rolling out Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Shang-Chi. Are you trying to like give DC a chance?
It's tough.
It is tough.